Welcome to Sankofa Community Affairs with Brother Salim Adofo. We are here with Dr. Justine Love, Swing Fi Swing. How are you doing, beloved?
I am in the best of health and spirits.
Okay, that's good to have you on the show. So, can you tell us what is Swing Fi Swing?
Well, Swing Fi Swing is a social fellowship which stands for Sisters with Interests, Never Gone. And the purpose of the organization is we were born a year after Dr. King was assassinated. And there were 12 dynamic and brilliant women that came together and knew that we had to make a difference in how people of color, Black people especially, that were being treated. So they decided that they were going to focus on social change and community service. And on the campus of Winston-Salem State University is when the birth of swing came, along with the help of our brothers, which is Groove Fi Groove.
Okay.
So that's how we came together. And the world is only two colors, white and black.
Okay. How long has Swing Fi Swing been around?
Well, we were founded April 4th, 1969.
What are some of the accomplishments of Swing Fi Swing?
Oh, every woman that comes in our sisterhood is an accomplishment. Several things. I mean, we focus on a lot of issues that some people don't pay attention to. You know, we've been on the forefront of dealing with HIV and AIDS and how disproportionately it affects women and children, and especially people of color. We are very focused on health and wellness. We're very focused on literacy and education, because we know if you educate your children, then you build a strong nation. And from that, you have the greatest success that we have heroes and sheroes coming out of that. So we're just behind the scenes. You know, you don't always have to be on the forefront. You know, when you're behind the scenes and empowering and elevating and educating, it's all the tools that you need.
Why is it important to have a sisterhood for young Black women in America?
Everybody needs a sister. You know, a sister friend, a sister, if they're not biological, sometimes a sister friend can give you as much or maybe even more support than a biological sister. And everybody has to have a need that they feel like they belong to something, but belonging to something that is very positive. And that's one of the reasons why I love my organization, is that we are non-judgmental. You know, we are very diverse. You know, like there are some organizations that, like, you have to look a certain way, you have to be built a certain way. Well, you know what? That's not what God created when He created mankind. So I love the fact that my sisters are so diverse.
All right, so you touched on something that may be a little bit controversial. I know that some college sororities at one point in time had this thing about a brown paper bag test.
Sure.
How does Swing Fi Swing differentiate itself from some of those types of organizations?
Well, let me say this first. You know, that was in the 50s and the 60s, and we have fortunately, and I'm very thankful, because being a product of the 50s, I get where we were, but now we understand that we are embracing our pulchritude. You know, there is nothing like the beautiful hues that we have. You know, you can be mocha, or you can be ebony, or you can be whatever color that's in the spectrum, but you know what? You're still a woman.
Right.
And because of that, you know, we are embracing of all our sisters, whether they are rocking some other colors. Because you know what? We're all about the focus of empowering each other and lifting women up. And when you lift a woman up, she's going to help to lift up her man, that's going to help to lift up a nation.
Right. So you touched on the fact that the organization was born right after the time that Martin Luther King died.
A
year after Martin Luther King died. And in the Black community, that was a transition from the civil rights movement into the Black Power movement. And so now in 2014, the circumstances that created Swing Fi Swing then don't necessarily exist now. So how do you remain?
Oh, they do.
Okay, they do?
Yeah,
okay.
of course they do. I mean, look, we're dealing with the social injustice of the sister in Florida,
Marissa Alexander.
Yeah, I mean, and for something, she was protecting herself, and at that time, her unborn child. The whole thing with the Trayvon and Jordan, you know, so things, we might be a bit ahead, you know, in reference to technology and things like that, but racism head is still there. You know, it's just coming up different ways. I mean, that's why it's important
Right.
that we vote and we get our young people to register to vote, you know. So it hasn't gone anywhere.
Well, I guess I agree with you. I was thinking in terms of the sense of urgency.
Oh,
A lot of-
they're even more so now.
Right.
That there's a sense of urgency, that we have to empower each other to understand that we will not be tricked or bamboozled, you
Right.
know, and once you're educated on an issue, no one can take that away from you. And we are trying to build and empower enough educated thinkers that are out of the box thinkers so that we can move our society and our generations on to bigger and better things.
What are some of the things that Swing Fi Swing are involved in the metropolitan DC area?
Well, we have a lot of initiatives that we're focusing on. We're focusing on mentoring, you know, that mentoring our young girls to becoming powerful and strong women. We focus on anything in reference to health, HIV, heart disease, all the big diabetes, all the big things that focus on disproportionately affecting our community. We do book drives. We're focusing on teen mothers and trying to empower our young girls to understand that, you know, abstinence is a great thing, but, you know, you have to have the tools. And just being the service-minded people we are, you know, we are all about service. If you need some help, it's my sisters that you come to, because that is our main focus about social change, but definitely about community service.
Do you find that some of the younger sisters in the community are reluctant to ask for wisdom and for the guidance from some of the elders?
Sometimes, but you know, you still have to be that kind of role model or be engaging that somebody wants to come and talk to you. You know, sometimes it's just a smile. And that's the one thing that we are very good at saying, like, how you doing, my sister? And just keep walking. And, you know, that might have been the one word that would empower that young woman. That's what we are doing in our organization. It's about promoting higher intelligence and supporting women in need of growth.
Okay. This is Brother Salim here with Sister Dr. Justine Love. We'll be right back.
Don't walk. Don't walk. Walk. Do not enter. Hot dogs. Definitely like hot dogs. Motorcycle club. Everything must go. Ghostly ghouls. Don't look at that, Teddy. Body piercing. Ouch.
Everyday moments can become
got that
teaching
right,
moments
buddy.
because learning starts long before school does. Give your child the start they need at bornlearning.org.
Brother Salim, we're back with Dr. Justine Love of Swing Fi Swing Social Fellowship Incorporated. Is that correct?
Absolutely right.
Okay, thank you. I have another question that I was always wondering in my mind, is that just trying to find your space on some of these black college campuses, and particularly for Swing Fi Swing, as opposed to the Divine Nine. Do you find that to be a challenge?
Oh, nothing is ever a challenge for my
Okay.
sisters. You know, the one thing, as I said before, that our focus is about service. And sometimes, you know, folks always have to be in the limelight. Well, we don't always have to be in the limelight. You know, our limelight shines through when we are doing the work.
Right.
And that's where you get your rewards. And when folks see, because I mean, I get, and my sisters get asked all the time about doing things in reference to in the community, because first of all, they know we're worker bees.
Right.
They know we're very, very task oriented, and we know what it takes to accomplish a service project in a timely manner.
How has Swing, being a member of Swing Fi Swing, helped your career?
Oh, you know what? I've met and I've gotten to empower some other young women along the way. And anytime, for me in my career, it has helped me to know that I'm giving back. I am supporting a woman in need of growth. She might not realize it. She might be a college student. She just might be a sister that is working every day, but needed a sisterhood to feel that she was a part of. So in my career, I meet and encounter women like that all the time. So that's what has helped me. Every woman I've met has helped my career.
You know, as a young man, you know, watching some of the struggles that women go through, and I see that a lot of them just don't have somebody, you know, in their corner. And especially, you know, in 2014, being on a college campus, again, is that this society is, you know, social media, it's, you know, music videos. Do you think that from the time when you became a swing, that the sisters who are becoming swings now, that struggle to find themselves as a woman, how would you, you know, help someone like that?
Well, change is always good, and I'm a great component of change. The one thing that I still like to advocate from my sisters, my younger sisters, or any other woman that I encounter is social media is fine. I mean, I'm a Facebooker, I can tweet, you know, I do all that because, you know, I'm a part of our now generation. But there's nothing like receiving a pen note from somebody. So for folks to say, what is she talking about, a pen note? That's something when you write a note, a letter. And we need to be in the art of conversation. You know, unfortunately, emailing, Facebooking, and tweeting, you might write something, but it's, you know, when people read something, they can interpret it any way that they want. So that can cause drama. So I believe that it's good to do those things, and it's good to, you know, break the digital divide, but you have to be involved and engaged with the most personable thing, and that's talking to each other. And talking and looking them in their eyes.
Eye contact. But being in media yourself, you realize that the way that the world operates now, some people just don't have time, or that they think they don't have time.
Yeah, they think they don't have time.
But how do you get a generation of folks who've been brought up with, you know, everything happening instantly to understand the value of just being able to sit down at the dinner table with your family and having a conversation as opposed to just texting?
Well, how about this? You know, unfortunately, that is the case. And, you know, I know people whose kids, they live in the house with them and they won't even come and talk to them. They send them a text, you're not going to live in my house and you're going to text me. You have to engage me in conversation. But you know what? When you're not exposed to that, don't let life take away life from you. You know, and sometimes it's good to sit down and fellowship or just talk about, you know, and I know especially with younger kids, you know, they don't want to talk to their parents. But I'm not telling you to be a friend that you're on the same level with your child, because everybody needs guidance. Even myself at this point in my life, there are sheroes and heroes that are my mentors, and for some of them, I'm their mentee. You know, so I'm looking at them for guidance and wisdom. Everybody wants that. Just unfortunately, we don't know how to ask it. So if I give any other message, it's all right to ask somebody along the way. This is just such a short journey.
Who are some of your sheroes?
Oh my goodness. Well, you know, I love the First Lady.
Okay.
You know, I have Michelle Obama arms. Do you want to see my arms? No, I'm just playing. She's one of them. I don't know if you saw Mandela's A Long Walk Home, you know, with, but the young lady that played in the movie, that played Winnie, you know, Winnie is probably the strongest woman I've ever seen. You know, in the month of March is Women's History Month. You know, Harriet Tubman, that was a bad sister. That she got all those people to come up through the Underground Railroad. I mean, there are numerous ones. There's some of my sister friends that, you know, are working in the White House. Some of them that are stay-at-home moms. You know, you don't have to be a celebrity for me to look at you as a hero or shero. You know, it's just being a woman and surviving and taking care of everything that we have to do. People don't realize how much we do. You know, we're doctors, we're lawyers, we're nurses, we're accountants, we're gardeners, we're chefs, we're numerous things. And sometimes we don't take time for the most important person, which is ourselves.
You know, you bring up a good point. And just the average everyday person, I look at my grandmother, who is now passed on my mother's side, and she reared 9 of her own children and all of her grandchildren, you know, for the most part. And just thinking back on all of the things that she did, even when she was sick, everybody else, you know, was a priority.
Oh yeah.
Even before her. And so now I tell women I meet that it's a requirement for you to be able to take care of everybody else in the household, even if you got pneumonia. I think that being a
You said what?
it's a requirement that she got to take care of everybody in the house, no matter how sick she is. But I think that, I mean, I'm joking in that sense.
Clean that up.
Partially, but I do think that it speaks to the value that sisters have been able to give, you know, to our community, in the sense that they've gone through everything that we've gone through, you know, as black men, but even worse to some extent because they're women.
Well,
so they get
yes.
it doubly hard.
Oh, absolutely. But, you know, in society, sometimes they look at us being women and being a minority woman that, you know, click, I got two, you know, I checked the box, I took care of two
Right.
particular instances. But one thing that I think that I would like for my sisters to know, you know, like, we are strong, and yes, we take care of everybody and everything else, but we don't take care of the most important part, which is ourselves, and having a love affair with ourselves. You know, everybody needs to be validated by some extent, but sometimes we're looking for negative validation, and we don't realize who that particular person is in our lives is being destructive. And then I would like to see our sisters allow men to rear our boys, because I can't teach a man how to be a man.
Okay, we're going to come back to that point
Okay.
because I want to talk on that.
Okay.
This is Brother Salim, Sankofa Community Affairs. We're here with Dr. Justine Love. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Sankofa Community Affairs with Brother Salim. We're sitting here with Dr. Justine Love of Swing Fi Swing. In our last segment, you touched on something that I think is very, very important. You hit the point that sisters need to start letting brothers raise their sons. What do you mean by that?
Well, you know, unfortunately, we have a lot of single households.
Okay.
And sometimes my sisters, and I say my sisters because it is my sisters, black or white, Asian, Latino, whatever, that when we fall in love, we choose men. And we think that, you know, sometimes some of us believe having a baby, I'm going to keep him. And then, you know, then when it doesn't happen and they've made a bad choice of the man they decided to have a child with, well, you made that choice. Do not let your child suffer because you can't get along with him. And if she has a son, she needs to let him be an active participant in his life. She can't teach him how to be a man or surround him with positive role models such as, you know, there's so many strong male organizations out there, but let him be a man, but let a man teach him how to be a man.
See, that goes then to a whole nother thing in the courting process.
Oh, absolutely.
I think, and the reason why I say that is because how would she even know how to identify who a man is?
Well, it starts from in the home.
Okay.
You know, you mimic what you see and what you grow up in. You know, I had a young man tell me one time, he said, you know, how do you expect me to be positive where positive isn't where I live? And I said, wow, what a profound statement. I said, but you know, and my response to him is I said, but you're positive, brother, because you came out of all the adversity and all the negative influences around you. And because of that, I am honored to be in your presence. So you're the one that's the change agent.
That's a good point. And that line is a line from Everything's Gonna Be All Right by Naughty by Nature, who's from New Jersey.
Absolutely. Yes, I know that.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to
Yes.
throw that in there. But another thing I want to touch on before we get out of here is the glass ceiling.
Oh,
Can you
okay.
explain what the glass ceiling is?
Well, you know that our women are brilliant, and just as our brothers are brilliant. And the glass ceiling is that we could get to a certain point, and because we were women, you know that we only make 74 cents on the dollar to every dollar that every man gets.
Okay.
Now, and sometimes, not sometimes, excuse me, I absolutely know that I work harder than some men. And so why shouldn't I get the equal pay that they're getting for doing the same job? I am as educated. I have the interpersonal skills. I have the drive and determination that they do. So why should I be subjected? So when we have a sister, a woman, and I call all my sister friends, you know, sisters. You know, all women are sisters because we have a strong sisterhood. But when she breaks the glass ceiling, she steps out, you know, she breaks through and opens the door for other women along the way. Give you a great example. Did you notice, if you watched the Oscars last, a couple of weeks ago, one of the presidents of the Academy Awards was a sister. I didn't know that, but I turned around, I was jumping up and down like, whoa, look at that. How amazing is that? So that glass ceiling is when we step out and we've broken the ceiling, because we've been fighting to get there, and we keep pushing and pushing and pushing until it ruptures, and then here we are. So that's what us strong sisters do.
Okay, so now I'm gonna add another thing into it. There's the glass ceiling, which I think is applicable to, you know, to all women.
Sure.
And then there is being black and a woman, and then dealing with the glass ceiling. Do you find it difficult to be a sister in the workplace in corporate America? Just the fact that you're black and not even, you know, just a woman?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, it's interesting because that's very much an environment a lot of my colleagues are in. You know, they want to know, where did I go to school? What is your doctorate in? It's in philosophy. Like, oh my God, well, how long did it take you to do that? You know, I'm like, you know, I don't ask other people that, you know, outstanding on your accomplishment. So it makes it even harder. We have to push even harder to get folks to know that I'm credible. I am smart, I am kind, and I am important. To quote the Help, you know, which was such the most profound statement I ever heard.
You know, but it's 2014 now, and there's a black president. Is this a post-racial society?
No. I wish it was, but no. And that's unfortunate. You know, again, you see, because it's rearing its head all the time in everything we do. I mean, I'll give you a great example. We've been talking about immigration reform, okay? Now, they passed it in the Senate. So what's happening in Congress? This is not just about one group of immigrants. We are a nation of immigrants. The only people that were here, that were born here, were the Native Americans.
Right.
And everybody else is an immigrant. So how do you not pass a bill that is inclusive and respect and honor what they've done? I mean, there's so many people in this country that have worked hard, and we've been on their shoulders and on their backs and their neck. And other people are successful, and you tell me you can't acknowledge their being as a human being, of being an intricate part of the growth of this nation? Okay, but that's my soapbox. Okay, I'm sorry.
I got you. We want to thank Dr. Justine Love for coming on. Can you please tell everybody how to get in contact with you?
Oh, absolutely. Well, if you are looking for an opportunity to be a part of something that is a change agent, that believes in service and believes in giving back, and you need to be with some like-minded women, then you need to reach out to my organization, which is Swing Fi Swing Social Fellowship Incorporated. And you can go to the website and go to www.swingfiswing.org. And if you're in the metropolitan area, you can go to swingfiswing.org. Swing Fi Swing dcmetro.org, and we would embrace you. We would love having you. And if you need somebody out there to help you to do the work, we're the women you come to.
All right, thank you.
So again, thank you, my brother.
Oh, you're most welcome. And real quick, I did go to college with your current president, Leonie Letsom, so I got to give her a big shout out. And I want to thank all the guests for watching. We appreciate you, and see you next week. Peace.